I believe a lot of you are in the same route. A lot of you have a lot of you have been unemployed or decided to go through entrepreneurship. And let me tell you this, clarity. You need clarity. If you don't know who you're selling to, what product you're selling, what problem you're solving, you're going to be going in circles. So that's what we're going to get into in this video. Here's what I see many business owners and entrepreneurs do. It's not that you're lacking the talent. You have the talent, you have the ideas, but it's just that we're chasing too many ideas. You are overthinking every single thing. You're following what's trending, and then you're waiting for the perfect moment to show up, to be consistent, to be confident. And it's not going to get there unless you make a move. I used to be in this loop. I was scrolling on Pinterest, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, looking at other business owners thriving. Like, I have a similar business. Why are they profiting and being successful? And I'm over here just sitting and scrolling. So if this is you, trust me, it's not that you're lazy or untalented. It's just that you need a framework. You need a plan. You need a step-by-step plan. And this is why I created the Business Clarity Blueprint. So what is the Business Clarity Blueprint? This is a step-by-step guide to help you figure out what you're good at, your skills, your passions, what's monetizable. Not only does it help you identify your skills, but it helps you to identify and create a business plan, a business, so that you can then start creating money. It's more than having passions, but can those passions monetize? Can those passions create an impact and make money? It also helps you decide on your niche and your target audience. Once you figure out who you're speaking to, and I keep talking about this because it is so important. I know you want to speak to everybody, you want to help everyone, you want to sell to everyone, but when you're selling to everyone, you're selling to no one. I had to learn this the hard way. So I'm here to let you know, please stop, or please don't go that route. Select your ideal audience through the skills that you want to use and to monetize. Once you identify your skills, figure out what the problem is that your person is going through. That is your solution, that's your offer, so that you can then sell your offer to that person that needed the most. I remember filling out this guide when I finished creating it to see like how it works, how it can help someone else, and identifying what business to create. And as I'm filling it out, I'm like, wow, I wish I had this when I was circling for the past 3-4 years. Like it's like once you know who you're helping and what they need, the content is easier. Your message will land. If you don't know who you're speaking to, you're talking to the air, you're speaking to crickets, you're speaking to everyone. Hence the no sales, because if they're confused, they're like, oh, I'm not going to purchase. If you can't say in one sentence what you do, your audience is confused. Most people skip this part. They want a flashy idea first. They want to make $50,000 a month first. But you got to get clear on your skills and your experience. So for example, what are you naturally good at? What do people come to you for help with? What can you monetize from your 9-to-5? What skill from your 9-to-5 can you monetize? So for me, I was an actual coach in my 9-to-5 for about 10 years. And I tie that in with personal growth concepts. I'm like, wait a minute. People come to me for advice, coaching, business, etc. I tied that in and created my own offer. Now, this one is very important. I skipped this years ago, and it made sense to why I implement it in my strategies and in my student strategies. Validating your offer before you put it out there. You want to make sure people actually need what you have to offer. So here are some strategies that I use in order for me to validate my offer. For example, number one, the first one would be to check social media communities, Facebook or whatnot. What are people asking about? If they are asking, that means they have a problem. They need a solution. Hint, hint, wink, wink. That could be your offer. What are they asking? What do they need help with? Get in those communities and ask them questions. Ask them questions. It's not about selling when you're trying to figure out what to validate, what offer to validate. The next thing would be to use polls and surveys. Ask your audience, even if your audience is 90, that's still an audience. Don't be intimidated by the lack. You don't have any lack. You have an audience of 90. That's your audience. Speak to them. Ask them, what do they need help with? What problems do they have? Ask them a series of questions referring to your product, what you plan to service, the digital product, physical, your skincare, whatever. Ask them questions. Don't be afraid to ask. Lastly, and definitely not least, would be to search online to see what is currently selling. Okay, I'm not saying to compare or to just follow trends, but you want to see evergreen products. You want to see what's always selling, not seasonal items. That's not evergreen. Evergreen would be selling all the time, regardless. So, as a multi passionate as myself, I had many products. I used these 3 steps to narrow down my 10 offers into one. The next step is to figure out who you are selling to. Who are you serving? As I mentioned before, when you're selling to everyone, you're selling to no one. This is where many people, beginners, fail because they want to sell to everyone. They believe that, oh, I should get as much money as possible, but that's not how it works. When you are confused as to what your product is because you don't know who you're speaking to, they're confused as well. This is why having the business clarity blueprint is imperative for your business and scalability. Once you identify who it is you're selling, then you'll have a product, then you'll be able to create content that lands for your potential client or customer. This business clarity blueprint helped me create a profile of my ideal client, identifying what their desires are, their pain points, what they're struggling with. Once you are clear on those factors, then it's easier to speak in their language to see what they need from you. Finally, because I can talk about this. I love talking about clarity because it's so important, but I just want to keep this short. I'm gonna try to. But finally, okay, the action plan. You need a simple action plan in order for you to start executing, in order for you to start rolling in money. But how? You want to first identify where your client customer is hanging out at. What do you need to create first? Where to launch? How to build momentum consistently. And that's exactly what is explained in the business clarity blueprint. The first step that the blueprint walks you through is what you need to create first. You want to make sure that you are creating a product that is in demand, a product that your client customer needs. Okay, that's what the blueprint walks you through. Secondly, where to launch. This is so important because not all platforms are the same. TikTok is not the same as LinkedIn. So once you identify, this is why it's so important to know who your client customer is so that you know where they are hanging out at, okay? Because if you are selling cupcakes, LinkedIn may not be where you want to hang out, unless if you're selling to corporate, which, it's like you either are going to be on LinkedIn or you're going to be on Instagram, Pinterest, even YouTube showcasing. That is something people want to see. How are you making these keto-friendly cupcakes? What are the ingredients? You want to show them the process, which is so important as to where you want to launch your product. Third, how to get your first clients. Now, it's not about going viral, having thousands of followers. It's about clarity and having a strategy. Hence why it is important to know who you're speaking to so that when you are creating and posting your messaging will land to the right people. Lastly, so important, how to build momentum consistently. Once you know who you are serving, the product that you want to create or have created and you're ready to sell, to market, to serve, once you know what you are building, it is easier. You have confidence because you know exactly who you're selling to. The momentum comes from knowing what you're building. It comes from tracking what works and being consistent. Okay, so important because when you have direction in your business won't feel heavy. Therefore, you'll show up regardless of how you feel because you know what you're building. If you're sitting there wondering what business to start, I promise the business clarity blueprint is your shortcut. No more guessing, no more procrastination, no more trying to figure out who you're speaking to, going in circles, having shiny object syndrome because you don't know who you're selling to, what you're even creating and building. So I say this to say, Start with the business clarity blueprint. Check the link below in the description to finally get your copy today. It's time to start your business.